Well, welcome to Forex.Today, the YouTube community of more than 20,000 foreign exchange traders. We gather here today to conduct technical and fundamental analysis with the overriding goal of planning our trades in advance because trading is risky, not appropriate for everyone. Your past performance, good or bad, is not necessarily indicative of future results. Please stay small, stay humble, focus on the long term, never risk money you cannot afford to lose. My name is Wayne. I like trading currencies. Been doing this currency trading thing for, almost spot on 20 years. Cool. And this is my second or third career, so that's cool. Right on. So I've done a few things before this thing called Forex. And like everybody, we bring the good, the bad, and the ugly with us, and it goes that gets fit into our psyche. And so we can look at the same facts and get different opinions, and that's okay. And that's what we call a market. So if you could answer the poll I posted up there so we can get a sense of market sentiment. The more people answer, the better the data set. Very cool. So anyways, let's get on with it. We'll go through the charts today, do some technical analysis. I'll answer your questions. Keep it to about an hour. What do you think about that? I suggest we look at stock market, bond yields. I suggest we look at Bitcoin. I suggest we look at exotics. I suggest we look at, did I say gold and oil? We should probably look at that. We should look at the dollar pairs. Yeah. So we got a lot to do, so thank you for being a subscriber. Please like while you're here. Click the thumbs up. Tell YouTube this is quality content. Just get that out of the way. Knock that out. In the description below the video, there are a lot of resources available to you. One is a link to my book, Strategic and Tactical Forex Trading. One is to my educational community, education service and community, fxbootcamp.com. One is my fully automated macro analyst, a Quant-in-a-Box called Quant-in-a-Box.co. That link is in the description below. There's a link to tradersway.com. An ethical, trustworthy foreign exchange broker that I recommend. You can have an ECN account. You can have a fixed spread account. I prefer the VAR account, the variable spread account. That's me. I like soft dollars over hard dollars. Whatever. It's your way at Trader's Way with Trader Wayne. There might be a link to something else too. There's free training courses. One on macroeconomics, another one on technical analysis. Dude, there's a lot there for you. Take advantage of them. Taking a look around the world here, we see the dollar is relatively strong on the short run. Swissy is kind of topping out a little bit. Yen was strong, then it's weak. Whoa. Well, the weak side is obviously monetary policy there. Pound, lots of volatility. Kiwi was weak and now it's strong. I was short this. Now I don't believe I am. Aussie was weak, but now it's strong. And Euro was trying, but now it's giving up. And you're like, well, so it seems like we're stuck between a rock and a hard place, waiting for some sort of resolution to the debt ceiling, maybe. Waiting for what? Hearing from the Fed. So lots of Fed speakers yesterday. And the tone was that a pause wasn't certain and hikes are and rate cuts are doubtful. That's how I read it. There's probably, 4 or 5 speakers yesterday. And they're like, pause is a maybe and cuts are not happening. Bostic even said, yeah, look, I could raise interest rates. Not a problem. So the market is not positioned the same way that the Fed is, which is kind of interesting, isn't it? What should we be trading? Our guesses or the information given to us by the people that make the decision? Let's take a look at your poll. Thank you for answering the poll. I appreciate you. 56 on the euro. Euro, yeah, fairly weak. Dollar fairly strong. So probably euro dollar down. And we had sort of better moves around the world here earlier, but you can see the strong have become weak, the weak have become strong, and so right now we're just kind of waiting. What I think we're seeing when we look at the stock market, and I look at like the S&P 500, for example, what I see is, well, not actually on this chart, I see hedging going on. Hedging. People are like doubtful on the upside and preparing for the downside. I don't think very many people are loading the boat, but don't be shocked if we get a big pop if the debt ceiling is resolved. That might happen on Friday, maybe, but then they still have to write it, and then they have to go through procedures, and then eventually it has to be voted on. So the actual solution is a couple of weeks away. But let's say a deal is struck on Friday. You could get a big pop in the S&P 500. Just don't confuse that with buying. Don't confuse that with buying. That's the removal of hedges. So anyways, there's always a new risk, right? So whatever, what we do see, and it's plain to see, it's clear that we are in a range, and until it breaks, we don't really have a trade. That's that. The beta is flat. Your trading should be flat. Okay, now you might say, oh, but Wayne, we're on the central pivot. I don't care about the central pivot that much. If you take the training courses at FX Bootcamp, I don't talk about the central pivot very much. It's only relevant in a trend. Right? In a directional trend. This is a non-directional trend. The trend is sideways, so I really don't give two hoots about the central pivot. What I do care a lot about is the pivot in which bulls buy, and what I also care a lot about is the pivot in which bears sell. Bulls buy and bears sell. Okay? And we're in the middle, and to me that's sort of irrelevant. You're like, but Wayne, if it goes this way, well, you can't predict that because that's not what the trend is. And how are you basing your prediction? So we're just stuck in the middle. And yeah, now it might break down. Okay, fine, but you just can't predict it. Okay, now, if euro is going to drop down, you need S&P 500 to break down. And, well, that's not necessarily happening. We did have a move in the FTSE, but not a dramatic one. Okay. DAX going the opposite way. So none of this is helpful. All I see is risk. All I see is a miracle. All I see is you. All right, so that's the opposite of FTSE. So that's not really macro now, is it? Oops. Boop, 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 Boo, boo, boo. And look at that. That's definitely risk on, yen weakness type thing. Holy smokes. Very outside the norm. Okay. Very outside the norm. If we go back even to last year, there's very few cases in which we get outside the trade zone. And the one time over these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the last time, the only time it ever happened in the last 6 months, we went to R3 and collapsed. And that's actually part of the rules of engagement I give you as a boot camper. So if we go so far as here, then don't be shocked that that's the high. Okay. Dakar says, I took profit on R2 last night. That is the proper way of handling it. Yeah. Okay. But you could now, let me zoom in. I'm trying to zoom in a little bit. You could now buy the dip and go for R3. Okay, and once again at R3, get out. Okay, let's look at commodities like gold, oil, and Bitcoin. That's the Nikkei, blood. Okay, once again, same S&P 500, just another look. Okay. Yeah, the Nikkei. The Japanese stock market. How about that? Okay. But notice the real interesting price is down in here, right? So not a down day, most likely back to the top of the range. Okay. Hang on, I want to adjust the temperature in here. Hang on. It's getting hot in here. Favor, I think you asked similar questions yesterday, and I immediately responded, and then you immediately ignored me. So I'm a little perturbed. Hang on. I got something on my shirt. Thank you, dry cleaner. Okay, so let's take a look at, let's start with gold. Okay, gold is working properly. That's going in the direction we've analyzed. And not only that, this area here predicts the conservative target of 1982 and an aggressive target of 1972. So back to the bottom here. Okay. Oh, okay, Favor. All right. Favor, where will the S&P 500 be 1 week from now? Higher, lower, or stay in the range? Will it break to the upside? Will it break to the downside? Or will it stay in the range? Okay, then you would think up. So the other issue with this week's target for gold is it's on a buying price for bulls. So bulls will probably try again, and at the same time, bears will take profit. So you'll probably get a big move in gold, okay? And then probably a bigger move in gold this way over the next 2 weeks. What do you think? This week, next week, week after? Okay. What facts, Blood? I missed it. Oh, you mean the target and stuff? Yeah, well, you have to understand I'm risk off. Right? I hope everyone here follows all of that. I've been risk off for a couple of weeks now. You know, and you have to understand, I do the live streams here every day. Every day for 20 years, I've done the YouTube live streams. And you're like, YouTube isn't 20 years old. That's right. Before that, I used my own software or other software. But since the very, very, very beginning of YouTube, it wasn't even owned by Google yet. It hadn't even IPO'd yet. I was doing YouTube. So anyways, what over the last couple of weeks, I think that would be about right. The last couple of weeks, I've been changing my entire construction of my retirement portfolio. Okay? And that doesn't mean the stock market's going to fall. It's more like the stock market could fall. That would be disinflationary, and you wouldn't need gold as a hedge. Manuel said you were going long USD yen. I did go long USD yen, yeah. So this is part of that plan, and you know. So I know what I was going to say. I've talked about this in the live streams. I've talked about this in the day trading group. I've talked about this in the swing trading group. And sometimes I forget where I said what, but it's all the same. I might say the same thing 5 different ways using different analogies, different stories, different setups. But to me, I'm a macroeconomist and I believe in Newtonian physics as a model for how the global markets work. So if I say one thing, I mean 7 different things. Not that there's 7 different things. No, they're the same thing. So I look at gold down and I'm like, well, that's the same as the S&P 500 falling. That's the same as the euro dollar falling or the Aussie dollar. Frank says, are you going to trade when you retire? I don't plan on ever retiring. I will likely, I will be managing money, and I will be teaching. That's the most likely outcome when I'm 80. I will manage money and teach. Somebody, I was actually talking about this the other day with a friend, and he said, well, if you don't teach at Harvard, what about another school? I'm like, not interested. And they're like, why is that? I'm like, it's not that I want to teach. Harvard is special, and I want to be associated with the university. Cool. Anyways. Yeah. And my model for my personal endowment fund easily beats the S&P 500 with 40% less volatility. Oh my God. All right, so anyways, so gold coming down, just pay attention. There's an out and an in approaching. Out for bears, up for bulls. So there's probably a big move, and that would be like this. And let's say by Tuesday, we're back at, let's say 2050 even, right? So even higher than that X, and then we work our way back down. So we might get a big bump based on debt ceiling resolution. And after 2 or 3 days of awesome rally, the party's over. That's what I think. Cool. So the government is suggesting that it wants to buy oil. Today is Wednesday, so we'll see how the report at 10:30 looks. But we are caught above support and below resistance. So I suppose if I were to guess, I would look for an up, a down, and an up. Oh, the other thing I would likely be doing when I retire is writing books. I'd like to leave a legacy. I'd like to put my thoughts down to paper and have it live beyond me. I love the fact that I can read John Maynard Keynes' paper on, the Bank of England's influence on the money supply. I love the fact that I could read it and almost get to know him. I'm like, it's beautifully written, well said. He's teaching about how banking works back in 1924 and earlier. And he's writing about the end of the Napoleonic Wars and stuff like. I love the fact that I could get to know this gentleman, even though he's been dead for 80 years. And so it's a way to live. And so I enjoy writing. So I just haven't done it very much, but I think I would do that too. I would day trade less. I would swing more, position more, have lots of opportunity to think, write all those thoughts down. Yeah. Writing is just another form of teaching, isn't it? Yeah. All right, so anywho, so WTI maybe, but that's quite different from gold in general. Oh, that's right. And then Bitcoin, okay. Remember, we talked about this yesterday. And it's working its way down. Okay. The dangerous part of this is that the trade is likely over anyways. That, you see, like that was the projected conservative low for the month. So you could say, you know, M3, M1. And so all of this is just kind of leftovers. It's a ghost. But if that dollar becomes strong, boom, boom, boom. Take a look at dollar pairs. Let me do these vertically. Okay, start with Aussie. I'm sort of in a mediocre, medium range kind of scenario here. Down, 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 up, up, sell. Kicking off the pivot zone, kicking off the moving averages. Inside of that, there was price action, down, 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 up, up, sell. Off the 4-hour 21. We have made a lower low almost to the daily target. Remember, the day trade is sell here, exit here. That almost worked. It almost worked. See, down, 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 up, up, sell. And it's supposed to be down here. Now we're all the way back up here. So I don't know. There's not much more I can do. Stop is break even, riding the moving averages. So who knows where that goes? You can see like all the daily predictions. You can see like Monday's low target, Tuesday's low target, okay? Wednesday's low target, Thursday's low target, and it's all basically the same, huh? Only the names will change every day. So anywho. A lot of congestion, definitely not on the free and clear plan, definitely still inside of a range. Kind of a difficult place to be, but that's why you jam your stop and take a walk. Okay. Okay, USD Kitty Cat, still in its range. Okay, and in the middle of the range, so very difficult to trade. Okay, it's in the middle. It's on the inside of an inside range. So you do you. Euro dollar, most of you guys were interested in trading euro dollar today. So this goes back. By the way, all these trade plans I created last week with the day trading group and maybe even the swing trading group. But no sell on Monday. Sell on Tuesday, kick it off of the 4-hour 21. Okay. Down, 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 up, up, sell. Down, 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 up, up, sell. And now there's a breakthrough, which would suggest the S&P 500 is down today. But that's okay. I'm not even joking. Probably 5 positions in my retirement portfolio were closed yesterday and rotated to addressing risk off. Okay. So now this one's Oscar Mike, which is great. Nice little lower low. The next target is 107. We're at 108 and some change, so I can pick up another 100 pips here. I'm essentially short at 109, so is that right? Is that right? 108, 90, not far off, 80. So I have probably 50 pips on this and probably pick up another 100. Trade at hero or zero. Taking a look at pound dollar. Okay. Second verse, same as the first. Down, 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 up, up. Again, the plan was created on Sunday, executed on Tuesday. Lots of volatility on this one. Do you see how it dropped? And then it went way up here, and then it went way down, and then it closed high, and then somewhere in there I caught it. It's retesting right now. So again, not really on the free and clear plan, but I can't lose money. So last night in the day trading group, we talked about these trades, and I had moved the stops back up, but now I have since moved them right back to where they were. So hero or zero. So ideally, what you're looking at here is we keep it below tomorrow's sell zone. See, that's tomorrow's sell zone. But also the thing that you got to eyeball is this 21 EMA, and in particular where you think it's going to be in the future. So I'd like to keep it kind of like, I guess that's the highest high it can do. And now over the next few hours, it should be down. Notice the hesitation had to do with hitting target for the day. See, the day trade was sell here, exit here. That's how the day traders do. So it's understandable that there's green on the screen because bears are buying. Bears are buying, and then bears are reselling. That's how a bear do. Okay. So anyways, there's that. This one I was short yesterday, and I am no longer short. Same trade as before, except the other ones were doing this, and that one's doing that, and so I'm out, as they say in Canada. If we were to add another one to this, new chart, yen yen. Do 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 do. Okay, we have this trade. We have to back out a little bit. Okay, this is a trade from 3 weeks ago, I think. 3 weeks ago. So long in here. And so far this week we had a higher high. Okay, you use your roll reversal, higher low, kick off the moving averages. Higher high, there's yesterday's day trade into yesterday's profit target, but also this is an out of position trade. As you can see, this is OOP, out of position, and typically we get this out of that scenario, but it's going to try for the top. So I'm in at 133 and a third, 133. We are now at 137, so I have approximately, 350 to 400 pips. Cool. So it's a good start. Did I miss anything? No. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I guess that's that. So I've made 100 pips since last night. Beep, 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 beep. All right, so let's now we'll look at, so we did gold, oil, Bitcoin. We did dollar pairs. I suppose, and we did the stock market. So I guess now let's take a look at exotics. And we can look at further cryptos if you want. Anyone want to do crypto? Please answer the poll. I popped the poll. I popped the poll, Bubba. If we get a few more people vote, that would be great. Bum, 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 bum. Come on, a few more people. A few more people. Only half have really answered the poll. Amazing. What do you other guys do? So Wayne, are we seeing all risk off? Well, we don't actually have risk off. We have nothing. Nothing's happening. Okay. Yes, we have a tight range and volatility on low volume. Yes, probably because of the debt ceiling. Yeah. All right. So we have a statistically relevant data set, 60-40 split on a yes. Okay. And this is what I drew back in February. Let me get rid of the whole range thing. Okay. That's what I had back in February, trying to predict Ethereum months in advance. And I have the up, 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 down, down, up, 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 down, down, up, 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 down, down, up, 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 up. And what we got was up, 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 down, down, up, 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 down, down, up, 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 down, 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 up, 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 up. So now the risk here is this way. Okay, that is now the risk. What we had was in place, risk on at the time for Ethereum way back in March. And we know somewhere along the way, around April, okay, we had the 100% pullback. That's the pullback from this high to this low. That sets up the lower high, and it happened, but usually the first part of that is consolidation. And what the risk is, like, it doesn't mean it will happen. Other things need to happen for this to continue, but the pattern would be break to the downside, false rally, resell on the neckline, which is in this zone here, and a new move down. That would be risk off. That would be recession. Thank you, Peter. Okay. So what do you think? I think that's a real risk. We are below the moving average, and this is the right. This is the likely outcome on the short run. Oh God. Interesting, right? The price action is screaming whatever was is probably no longer. That's what that big giant move right there. And what we forget as shorter term traders, like we forget in this period here, because that period there is 2 weeks. And we miss the fact that it's just sell the shoulder basically, right? It's essentially a head and shoulders pattern. Technically, it's a crown pattern, but whatever. I never gave it two hoots about that. Okay. So interesting, huh? So that's showing potential risk off. Bitcoin we've already covered, but I want to show you in context. It's kind of the same thing, isn't it? What do you think? Potential for head and shoulders on Bitcoin? Maybe. And if I were me, I'd probably hold that short until third week of August. That's scary, huh? Cray. Ripple. Oh, God. Kicking off the central PP. Look at that range. Oh, my God. Look at that range. So the way to look at this is we already have a range there. And we have a range here. And I would assume nothing. Okay. You're holding short Bitcoin to 20K. All right, well, you threw it out there. Let's talk about it. 20K. Okay. Why 20K? Why 20K? The gap? That's not how you trade gaps. Just so you know. The CME gap. But you don't look back to December and say, well, there was a gap in December and we're going to fill the gap. No, that's not how you trade gaps. I hear that a lot too, so I don't know who's promoting that, but no. If you're talking over the course of a few hours, yes. But you don't look back 6 months and say, nature abhors a vacuum, so we have to fill the gap from December 2022. No, that's not how, no. But, okay, you're in that type of trade, though. You're assuming... I guess you're assuming a move back up. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to read that. It's either too short term or too long term. I'm trying to figure out the analysis. So if I go to a different setup, I guess we're going to look monthly and go out here. No. Next month? Even next month? No, so I don't know how you come up with 20. It sounds like a guess. Sounds like you said sell at 30, target 20. Which isn't wrong. That's how like bankers trade. But I don't think bankers are necessarily smart. So anyways, so I get it. There's psych levels, but there's I don't know. I'm trying to find it technically, and there's no sort of analytical, result of 20. Right? So it seems like a guess. I hope it works out, but I'm like, I can't figure out your analysis. Okay, so that's all. Let me get this. Come on now. There we go. Seems like a guess. Yeah, this was supposed to be one of the miracles of crypto, and apparently it's not. Okay. I thought this was going to stay above 2 and work its way to 10. And it had to do with the time when an American company, and I believe it was here in Georgia, in the southeast of the United States, it got hacked, and it had to pay the hackers a few $1 million to get unhacked. And then the United States government said like 3 months later that they recovered, at least half of the millions. They tracked down the hackers and got the Bitcoin back. And I'm like, okay, well, hackers are no longer going to accept Bitcoin, and they're going to have to choose. And this asset was one of the better choices. It's I would say, nearly impossible, if not impossible, to be able to backtrack. There's like privacy on this, right? But Byrne says, yeah, so now it's even surpassed. But the idea back then, right? Right? So anyway, that's that. This was interesting at one point and may no longer be. Newer tech has come out, but nonetheless, it's a tradable asset. Okay, and if we're to use technical analysis, I guess you would assume that we're climbing, right? So bottom, right? The last day of the year was the bottom. Up, 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 down, down, buy. That's 3 months. Up, 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 down, down, buy. So you buy it here at 36 and change, 36 and a half, and you hold it for what, 6 weeks? All the way to the greatest day of the year. The most important day of the year. Does anybody know what day that is? By the way, this is why I used the 200 EMA, huh? I observed it for all those years, and it was so important. Also look at the moving averages. Up, 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 sell. Down, 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 up, up, sell. Down, 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 up, up, sell. Right? Down, 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 up, sell. Down, 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 down. Last day of the year, take your profit, take a walk. Kevin's right. Canada Day, July 1st. The most important day of the year. And so you have, let's say, a May rally, a June pullback, a July rally, all right, up, and then a rally up in July. And then who knows? But, okay, that's January, February, March, April, May, June. What do you think? Okay. May, June, up into July. What do you think? Yes, Ashish, there's definitely a correlation with the yen. But the thing is, Ashish, is it positive or is it a negative correlation? You have to ask yourself, if there's a stock market rally in Japan, who's buying? And if it's risk on, how does a Japanese investor behave in a period of risk on? Are they the ones buying the stock market? Or is somebody else? Is it Americans? What does a Japanese investor do in times of risk on? Okay. And sometimes the answer to those types of questions are not obvious, and so you have to do your research. Okay. Big move here. Big move here on peso. And what I said this last night in the day trading group. And by the way, I invite you to join the day trading group. We do good work. You should join. Okay. Anywho, I called these dirty pips last night. Lucky pips, dirty pips, risky pips. Is there a reason why? The blue pips are good pips. The pink pips are dirty pips. Oh, good, Ashish. Yeah. Gather it and you'll see. There's definitely a correlation. Yeah. Okay. Felipe says passing the targets. Well, yes, the way to look at it is probabilities. Okay? If this is probably the bottom and you didn't behave, you didn't act, even though, right, you didn't act despite the risk, like risk increased exponentially. And so if you stayed short, you did nothing about it. Is that the right move? No, it's not the right move. Now, it does blow through those pivots, right? There are lots of times, right? I wouldn't say lots. There's often times, maybe once or twice a year, that something like that happens. But also, it's very frequent that it comes back into the trading range. And the way I address this in the training course is my speech on the law of averages. And if you want to know what that is, why don't you take the course? It's $88 a year, bro. That's cheap knowledge. Okay? So anyways, so these are dirty pips. And these are wonderful pips. And quite a pullback today. It doesn't mean it's over. Like if you're doing the moving averages, you're going to play it that way. But the risk now, since we're talking about it, the risk for this to happen is at its highest. The probability of that reversal is significantly higher than it was all month. And that's the issue. Once again, Favor, I answered that with a question. I answered your question with a question. You gave me your answer, and then I gave you the outcome based on your answer. So I already did that, dude. So this might fall, but they're dirty pips. Okay? I made a G today, but you made it in a sleazy way, selling crack to the kids. Well, hey, that's the way it is. Those are dirty pips, right? Right, so Favor, so I think you said sideways are up, so sideways are up. Yeah. You guys, who knows the lyrics that I just did? Who's up on their gangster rap lyrics from the 90s? Anybody? You made a G today, but you made it in a sleazy way, selling crack to the kids. Well, hey, that's the way it is. Tupac. That's right. All right, Tupac. Yep. Okay. And look at that. Now this might answer Ashish's question. If the Nikkei is up, is there a correlation with the value of the Japanese yen? What does it seem to be? What does the correlation seem to be right now? Okay. So we just cracked 30. What do the yen pairs tend to do when the Nikkei rallies? Now, why? Yeah, but burned, I can easily do with my eyes. Right? This is why I have scan this, scan that. Okay? It shows me relative strength, but then also, maybe it's more experience over time, but now don't memorize it. Like, what's actually happening to make this work? Why, Ashish? Therefore, you never have to memorize it. Why? What's happening? I asked the question earlier. In a time of risk on, what does a Japanese investor do? That's what's important. The why. Why is this happening? Well, who owns the Nikkei? Richard's like, so it's the flow of money. That's what Forex is, Richard. Who owns the Nikkei? The Bank of Japan. So who do you think is buying it? Japanese investors? American investors? European investors? Chinese investors? So no, Ashish, I don't believe that's happening. I don't think Japanese investors are buying the Nikkei. If that was true, nothing would be happening to the yen. So think about it differently. How do you get the yen to weaken? No, if foreign investors bought it, the yen would be strong and all the yen pairs would be falling. Think it through, guys. What is happening? How do you get the yen to weaken? Now, Bernd, why would you buy USD? The Japanese investors see that their central bank and their government are debasing their currency on the rationale of qualitative and quantitative easing. The value of the yen is directly targeted because the government and the central bank are trying to create inflation, which is devaluing the currency. So, if your whole life savings is in that currency, you're guaranteed to lose money. So what you decide to do is move your Japanese currency. Now, I'm talking about households here. I'm talking about Japanese housewives, not hedge fund managers. You move your money out of Japan and you buy U.S. treasuries that pay you 3.5%. And your money is locked up tight in the reserve currency. If the Japanese were buying the Nikkei, the yen would not change value. So they might be buying the Nikkei, but then again, 70% of it is owned by the bank, so that doesn't, right? So anyways, if it was foreigners, the yen would get strong. So it can't be the Japanese, because that would have no impact. It can't be foreigners, because that would have the opposite impact. So right now, what you're staring at is Japanese household investors are getting their money out of Japan as fast as they possibly can. And they're putting it in anything. Anything is better than yen. So we go back to the reason that I have this set up. They're buying Aussie, they're buying pound, they're buying CAD, and they're buying dollar. They're even buying Kiwi. Okay? And I'll end with this because I started with this, so maybe we can make a point here. Okay, yesterday was a big down day for the U.S. stock market, both in the S&P 500 and on the tech. It was a down day for FTSE, and it was a sideways to down day for DAX. Euro was a down day, and yen was an up day. Doesn't even make sense. If it was the free market buying the Nikkei, you'd have a completely different scenario with the currency. So I look at this, and this is the government and the central bank manipulating their currency. It's yield curve control, baby. And if you recall, when I go back to this setup now, this giant one in front of me. Okay, this trade, I believe, was the night the central bank confirmed yield curve control. And I said, they're selling the yen. Done. Dun, 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 dun. Now, a little bit of all associated with it. Yeah, well, the world was trying to figure things out. Okay? Yeah, look at that huge drop. Yeah, well, I actively do nothing every day. And it's working its way up. And we're going to be back around here. And the question is, where will we be at the end of the year? Well, my target, I have to go to a weekly and zoom in. There we go. I'm going for 3,000 pips. Uh-huh. 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 You're like, dumbass, say what? Okay, that trade was made the same minute yield curve control was announced. So now if I were to analyze the moving averages, it would suggest take profit at 150. That's what the moving averages say. Okay. Now, if I were to look at price action, it's like, go for it, Wayne, go for it. So now if we're going to analyze it using Fibonacci, we can say, okay, 50%. Okay, see how it's a perfect 50%? Like, oh my God, right? Perfect 50% predicts 1382, which is actually 170. I'm being conservative. It's probably worth closer to 4,000 pips, but I'm conservative. Okay, and I have the first 400. So, okay, 43 is the first 1,000. 53 is 2,000. 63 is 3,000. And 73, okay, is 4,000. Cool. Oh, God. And what's the basis of the trade? The Bank of Japan told me so. Okay. Cool, right? Hey, can you click the thumbs up button before you leave? Tell YouTube this was, half decent. You're like, yeah, it was all right. It was all right. What did you learn today? Would you document that in the comments below the recording? What did you learn? The importance of central banking, capital flows out of Japan. What did you learn? Did you like the fact I kicked off all those trades off the 4-hour 21? You're like, damn, boy, he's got like 4 or 5 trades. They're all kicking off that 21. Hey, I created the trade plans on Sunday, took them on Tuesday afternoon or Tuesday morning. So like these trade plans were coming up with 2 and 3 days in advance. Cool. Like what What did you learn? What was your key takeaway? I would document it for myself. Document. Make sure you hang on and retain what you learned. It should be a conscious effort. You have to manifest the future. Fate is but what you make. Ba-boom, boom, boom, ba-boom. See you soon. Have a wonderful